Good morning, everyone. As you start coming on in, it's Tuesday morning, January, what is it, January 27th today. Happy almost end of the month, I guess. Happy. But welcome, everybody. It's Notes of the Week. I'm Nick Paro, not your dad, joined by, as always, my co host and colleague and friend, Walter Rhein, level 36 magic user, for our Notes of the Week on Sick of This Shit publications. And today, good morning, everyone in the audience as you're coming on in. For those of you who are here with us live, thank you for being here with us live. We appreciate you. Smash that heart as you come on in. It helps build up the audience, gets us in the algorithm a little bit, and we're going to have a great discussion. Good morning, Lisa. I see you coming in the chat there. Hey, Amy. Let me call out a name or two here because I saw some highs. Hey, Amy. Hey, Lisa. Hello, Corinne, our fantastic guests today. Welcome. You are under the weather a little bit, so you are off camera, which is totally fine. I'm so glad to have you with us. Do you mind introducing yourself a little bit to the audience, to however much you feel comfortable with, letting people know who you are?
Yeah, so my name's Corinne Johansson, and I have a Substack, obviously. A lot philosophy, Marxism, and then also current events. And like a lot of you, I'm obviously deeply concerned about what's going on and what the regime's been doing lately. And obviously, with the latest execution that we saw this past Saturday in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Are we getting some little connectivity issues here? Corinne, are you hearing us okay? Or
seems yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yep, we got you there. We just kind of but I mean, yeah, I guess it's just the gravity of what we're facing, and the word execution is the right word. I mean, we have to not sugarcoat this. People have to know people are dying, and we have to remember that these executions, for every execution, there's probably 100 children that are tortured. I mean, it might be 10,000 children that are tortured. And the tears of children are it's just awful what's going on. And just the indifference we're seeing, it's so extremely frustrating. So I'm glad you're here to talk to us about these things.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's actually something that I'm writing about. Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
I was going to just say real quick is with what happened this weekend and what happened the previous weeks with Keith Porter on New Year or around New Year's Eve, I think it was, or on New Year's Eve. We have Renee Nicole Good. We have Alex Preddy. And these are just three names. These are just three of the many names. Like, it was a tough weekend. It's been a tough year. Been a tough decade, but we entitled this Nonviolence today, though. And Corinne, this is something that I know you wanted to be able to talk about, and it's also something that I advocate strongly about, and Walter advocates strongly about, is peacefully and patriotically, and what that means and how that translates into nonviolence and how we use that, both for our benefit, but everybody else's too. Corinne, do you want to go into your thoughts on that as we start our discussion a little bit? Because I think it's really important how we handle our emotions and our deliberate discussions around this after what happened with the execution of Alex Preddy.
Yeah, really good point.
I mean, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that the white hot rage is obviously really justified, but I think it's really important how we channel that. And their regime wants us to fight back what they're doing to all of us. But the minute that we respond in kind, it's going to be a slaughter. And I mean, you can't bring a gun to a drone fight. They are, we are, not prepared for that. And in doing that, it's just going to lead to even more bloodshed, and it's going to lead to the most vulnerable being killed. Trans people, children, the disabled, elderly people, they are going to be the first to go. And that is something that I don't think any of us want to see. The most vulnerable in these communities are going to be the ones that are going to be absolutely annihilated. And that's something that we really have to think long and hard about before, going raw gun. Now, I mean, if you're thinking about taking up arms because you want to protect your home, that's one thing. That's a very deeply personal decision to make. But when you're talking about collectively protesting out in the streets, that's another matter. Now, obviously, I want to be clear in saying that with Preddy, he was a legally licensed. There is obviously, we all saw what happened to him. That was not the reason why he was murdered, because he was already disarmed when they shot him in the head. So I just want to make that point clear. But when we're talking about mass resistance, there are so many other ways in which we can fight back against this regime. It's sort of like, I wrote a piece about this, and I made a, sort of an analogy to, a bunch of workers in factories, and they're being grossly mistreated, and yet they don't have union leaders. And then all of a sudden people are coming in saying, oh, why don't they strike? I mean, a strike is like the very last thing that workers do when things are. And there's unfortunately some people that are calling, and I mean, it's like going from 0 to 100. And, we haven't even begun to use any sort of like major tactics like we're seeing already exhibited in Minneapolis with the strike that they engaged in on last Friday. And now there are calls for a general strike, which we need to be really taking seriously and talking about.
Absolutely, Corinne. And I think what's coming clear too is how much of like the Second Amendment narrative has always been a lie. I mean, Americans are kind of groomed and indoctrinated, but I've been telling them, it's like, you're not John Wick, you're a statistic, and this stuff about how, oh, I can protect my house. They'll kill you is what's going to happen, and especially now when they're claiming they can knock down our doors without a warrant, they'll kill everybody in the house is what'll happen. So this Second Amendment, I'm going to protect my house, has always been bullshit. It's been, I mean, we've passively just allowed ourselves to repeat that nonsense because every single movie we watch is like the vigilante cop and all that nonsense. We're constant, like Dirty Harry is like fascism personified. We've been trained since birth to cheer for this. But now when we're faced with it, that means they're going to kill your whole family. And I recognize though, people, it's like these jerks who at the airport, they're making jokes about passing through, security. It's like, that's serious shit. And people have to recognize they can't leave comments like that. I've been having to block people just because they're leaving comments and they're leaving notes and they're leaving things on my platform. It's like, you guys, we are being targeted. We are being watched. We are nonviolence. And we've seen how completely innocent people, they take them and accuse them of being terrorists. So I can't have people coming onto my platform and making in jest or under any kind of reason, calls for violence. We can't do it. And just like Corinne said, there's so many options that are actually going to work that we can use. And I would tell people, don't stop this talk. If you've never shot a firearm, do not go buy one now, because you'll kill yourself with it. You'll get your family killed with it. Don't do that. Instead, engage in the positive activism. And that's the only thing that's going to save us. Go ahead, Corinne, if you have something else to add.
No, I was just agreeing.
No, I think I agree too. I'm a gun owner, and I won't be upset. I won't be upset about that because I own a hunting rifle, because I want to go be able to hunt. And if I'm going to hunt something, though, I'm going to eat it. It's food. I'm not part of the most dangerous game. Like that shit is stupid.
Yeah, fuck.
And the thing is, like, I understand the desire to want to go from 0 to 100. I understand the desire to want to kick back as hard as you can or punch back as hard as you can and say enough, because we all want to say enough. We are saying enough. But enough in a collective sense is not shooting people, because that's what separates us from fascists in a lot of ways, is our willingness to debate topics, our willingness to put in the hard work and continue the effort when somebody punches you in the face, or does something really violent towards you, or executes a man in the street. The restraint, again, by the American people to protest the way that they did, where there was no violence from guns by the protesters afterward, is the right response.
Right.
One, you look like an asshole when you're shooting and nobody else shoots back. It's like the image we all know from, what was it, Vietnam, where the flour got put into the rifle. Everybody knows that image. Everybody has seen that image because it's really powerful, because it's really meaningful, and it made an impact. Like the fact that we did all of what we did over the weekend. Like I spent 4 hours fucking watching that video over and over and seeing the protests go through it. And I streamed it on Banner and Backbone all day. I had like 1,500, almost 1,600 people at one point listening in on that show. Like, that's important because people were listening and hearing that we were advocating for, or that I was specifically advocating for, nonviolent responses. Is you don't take up arms, you protest. You protest with your money, you boycott, you target boycotts. And that's something that we need to start doing in mass. And I think a general strike, like Corinne, you said, and Walter, is something that we need to take seriously. Like, if you're in a position, if you're in a job that is meaningful to the economy, you should be seriously considering striking. Meaningful to the American economy. That includes tech sector jobs too. Don't just take this as, oh, those blue collar or whatever, those hardworking, rugged miners or transportation workers or the hardworking nurses. That's not it. That's not all of it. You have to grind everything to a halt. The tech industry specifically needs to be ground to a halt to feel the pain of what they advocate for and what they're doing. And their employees need to make it known that they do not approve of this. Tech workers can afford it more than anyone. Thank you, Elizabeth. I was a tech worker. Like, tech workers can afford to speak their minds. A lot of them have the privilege to speak their mind. If you're in a position of privilege at your company, use your fucking privilege. If you are in a position of privilege at your company where you can make a meaningful impact on the business direction and what you support and don't support as a corporation, do it. Use that influence that you have been building. Now or never, folks. That is what you can do. That is how you fight back. That is why NSPM 7 specifically calls out attempts to impact capitalism, basically, are considered terrorist threats, because they know that the most important and powerful mechanism to boycotting and protesting is the economy. And they're trying to frame it as a terrorist act to impact the economy. It's not. It's your First Amendment right. It is you speaking with your dollars. Don't let them take that from you. Don't let them tell you that you can't do that.
Prin, go ahead.
think that capitalism isn't it listed first in the NSPM 7 when they
Let me
listed
look
off
up. Let me look it up.
things. I think it might be the first thing.
Let me look up, because heinous assassinations.
And
have
I'm just really
increased.
concerned too with the level to which this the absurd and irresponsible calls to violence that are not thought through, the degree to which those are platformed at the expense of like tactics and strategies that will actually work. I mean, all the people here listening to this, we have to be unified in shutting that down. Can't let people even say things like that, because we all are. A lot of it is coming from bots. You know, they're just trying to cause fights so they can haul you in and say, "Well, you liked this comment," you know, and so everybody has to be unified. The violence isn't going to ever work, but the strategies, the economic strategies, the strikes, you know, that's our only way out now, and our conversations we have with our representatives, which have to continue too.
Yeah, so let me read the part of the NSPM 7.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think this is really important, then jump right back in, Corinne. So this is directly from NSPM 7. This anti-fascist lie has become the organizing rallying cry used by domestic terrorists who wage a violent assault against democratic institutions, constitutional rights, and fundamental American liberties. Common threads animating this violent conduct include anti-Americanism, which they have described above as support for law enforcement and border control, anti-capitalism, and anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, race, and gender, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. Yeah, so the first piece of their anti-terrorism,
Yeah, the first one.
anti-Americanism, which is support for law enforcement and border patrol, which is not anti-Americanism to not support that shit. Because just remember, the police were originally founded to catch slaves. They were slave patrols. They became the police. Just saying. The whole system is based on slavery and racism and white supremacy.
Well, in the North, they were to break unions.
Yeah. Yeah, and they want to break unions, and I'd love to get your thoughts actually on the idea from a non-violence perspective, because I live in a state where, thinking about unions, I live in a state where we have right to work laws, where workers basically don't have rights, because right to work is really the right to be able to hold your job until your company says you're no longer needed, and then they just dispose of you. What are your thoughts on that, Corinne?
Yeah.
Because that's actually how I got on Substack. Was I got here right after losing my job in what should have been an easy case of I got like wrongfully terminated. But what are your thoughts on that? On like how do we work that in to the idea of people with their non-violence and the resistance of like boycotting their job or taking time off, or how do we work that into that as a factor? Because I know people are afraid, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to lose my livelihood. What are your thoughts around like how do we support that?
Yeah. I mean, that's a really tough one. Like I was saying, I in Virginia, that was a right to work state, and so many I don't know what the strategy is for that, since there are so many millions of workers who do work in states like that where you can just be fired at will, no matter what. So I think that the tactic, that's why the general strike is probably so critical, because if you do it in mass, it's a lot harder just to all employees. It's known that they're doing it in mass. One of the first things that come to mind. I don't know what the two of you think about that. But if it's only done by a small portion of employees, then it's a lot easier to target them.
I would say one of the things I saw, and I've had a couple people talk to me about, is we keep telling people to call their representatives, but that doesn't mean your elected representatives only. You can call your union representatives if you are fortunate enough to be in a union. There are a lot of unions that have a tremendous amount of political power. Talk to your unions and say, look, I'm sick of having a militarized force that violates the Constitution, where they send masked men who don't properly identify themselves, who are harassing and harming children at schools. I'm afraid for my children. And then, teachers' unions would be a wonderful place to start. They have a lot of power. Just call them. And it's like the more because again, I've talked to people how the left or left-leaning people or rational people are just indoctrinated to never speak. Like, we're constantly just supposed to be silent. In the wake of a mass shooting at a school, we're not supposed to say anything. We're not supposed to talk at holiday gatherings about the cruelty of religion or politics. We're constantly pressured never to speak. So push that aside. You are allowed to speak. Call up your representative. Say, I don't think it's safe at work. I don't think it's safe to send my kids to school. In addition to your political representatives, call unions. Call the school district itself. Ask them what their policy is. Just get these things talking about. You want to pressure the principal or the superintendent to have to send out a note to the entire community saying, I recognize a lot of the people in this community are worried about the encroachments of ICE, because we're still in this messaging war. I mean, ICE is a relative compared to the whole rest of the United States. It's still a small organization. And if we can get every American citizen activated to understand what's happening, then we have the power. That's an effective way to go forward. And you're not going to lose your job. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think I was just going to say, I think mass solidarity is what we need.
Oh, we're having some.
But I called my mayor. Too. Say, I mean, constituent. Like, I live in Baltimore, and I called them and I said, I don't want ICE here. Get them out of here. Because there's been ICE sighting, ICE is here. It's obviously not to the level of Minneapolis, but there have been sightings of probably 120, of their unmarked cars in downtown Baltimore. And I've been begging people on Facebook, because I'm friends with a bunch of people in Baltimore, to spread the word and call the dams and say, get them out. Because Providence, Rhode Island, the mayor just last week signed an executive order saying that ICE cannot operate on public property there in the city of Providence, Rhode Island. So that mayor is taking the right steps. And so there's no reason why they should be here.
Yeah.
We don't want them. Yeah. And it's our job to make sure our politicians and our representatives know we don't want them. And again, that starts with unlocking our own brains, activating your own ability to speak, because we are indoctrinated to not say anything. But a lot of people believe the same way you do. Everybody wants our kids to be safe. Yeah. I'm sorry that Crin's breaking up a little bit. Hopefully we'll get that sorted out.
Yeah, I think we're just having some tech issues for the day. We're gaining traffic, and just tech issues happen here and there. We do this live. So fuck it. We're doing it live. As we used to say. Someone just came in with a name, situational awareness, and I like it. Because there's a lot of people who need situational awareness and have none. They don't know how to stay in their lane or watch their lane, as you'd say in the Army. Or in the military, is watch your lane, which means focus on what you're good at. One of the things we can do is talk about, like, I'm good at talking about what's going on and connecting people, and like helping spread awareness on things. Like, accept what you're good at and start doing it. Like, if you are passionate and good at something, go do it right now. Like, part of the protest is also bringing back your livelihood and bringing back your future, because you're not letting them take it away from you, and you're returning the power to you and not the abuser. And because these are abusers. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with abuse as a government system. We're dealing with systemic abuse or spouse. What I think it was most like well compared to is it's a domestic violence situation on a national scale. Like we're all in a domestic violence situation on a national level, and we need to think of it that way. And what do we need to do as the survivor of a mass domestic violence situation to come together and work with each other and create parallel systems and systems of support that are not standard or right away co-ops, things like that, like Winco. Winco is a great example. That business, I don't know if they're still good a company or not, but the example of them is they started and they are a co-op. They're a grocery chain that's gone like around most of the country now. There's a co-op owned by their people, owned by the folks that work there. That's what we need to do. We can do that. We have the collective power to do that and replace the institutions or commercial systems that are failing us, and then they become the standard systems. If we choose to make them the new systems, they become the system. So that's a nonviolent way of protesting. We use our dollars and we use our feet and our mouths and our shopping habits and our online behavior habits, places that we want to frequent. And that changes habits for everybody. But you have to be present in your community to do it.
Kryn, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of what we need to be doing on the ground and in our communities. So, for example, this coming Saturday, there's a protest here in Baltimore against ICE at City Hall. So, I'll be showing up, and I've been spending a lot more time with my neighbors, on my street, getting a feel for what they're thinking, how they're feeling, but just connecting with them. Because, this is all good and dandy, but I think just getting to know more of your neighbors, getting out there with people, like I'm volunteering to do ice tracking and things like that. I mean, that's what we need right now in all of our communities. And it's, it's putting yourself out on the line, but it's, it needs to be done. And I mean, if it depends on how you feel with, with regards to safety. There are other get involved. If you're not able-bodied, there's certainly other ways in which you can involve, because not everybody is able-bodied. So it's also important to point that out too.
Yeah, I think it is really important to just talk about these things, because as we look at it, our society, number one, it pressures us to just be silent and to endure abuse. That's why they're like, oh, this is the greatest country ever. If things aren't good for you, you're bad, So we're really heavily indoctrinated with that. We have to recognize that. And then the other thing our society does, it trains us to respond with violence if we get frustrated. And that's the thing that's constantly mirrored. So we have to look at these two massive areas where we're conditioned to do exactly the wrong thing. And we have to just sit down and calm down, because, they always show the glory of war and then they disregard the fact that you get killed, So that's what's,
or you come home broken.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. Issues.
And that's what people have to recognize too. It's like these, these people, they think ICE thinks it's above the law, but when you murder somebody, that becomes the you're going to live that moment again, no matter how much of a sociopath you are. That moment defines the whole rest of your life. And those of us, I mean, if you don't want to get coerced into some sort of a violent moment that can't be undone, because that'll end you. So we have to make that deliberate effort to reach out to our people. And like you've been saying, our community, our other kind people, deal with that frustration and fear, because everybody is feeling with frustration and fear. And these are evolutionary reactions where you respond, in a way, fight or flight, so we have to go past that. There's that instinctive part. We have to invoke the rational part of our mind. Somebody mentioned writing to the GOP reps. I don't even think that's worth it. I think we should be writing to our union representatives and our Democratic representatives and our school board members. I mean, there's a lot of people that you can write to. We don't think about it. I mean, people think, oh, we have to win the presidency. No, talk to like the most basic, go talk to your librarian, go talk to anybody in your community, and let it be known how your community feels and encourage other people to talk. We have to lift all of our voices because there are more of us than them.
One of the things you can do too is create neighborhood watch groups or become part of neighborhood watch groups that are meant as a nonviolent protection. ICE Watch, like those ICE observers, those folks know what they're doing. They have training on tools on how to safely observe ICE and safely observe law enforcement, other agencies that are law enforcement, because ICE is not law enforcement. ICE is a rogue paramilitary group and oppressive, like domestic terrorist organization. That's a great way to describe them. They are the domestic terrorist organization because they're causing terror domestically to everybody. They're making people afraid. Like, people live in fear. That would be the definition of terrorism, is terror on a mass scale targeted to impact a community, not by the event itself, but by the outcome of the event and what can come after the event and the threat of another. The killings are terror acts of terrorism, because the murders of Renee Nicole Good, of Alex Preddy, of Keith Porter are acts of terrorism because they are meant not just to impact the person that died, but they are meant to make a message to everyone else and terrorize us.
Yes.
Everyone lives in this state of fear right now. People live in a state of fear. Collectively, we break that fear. We have to be the force that drives that fear back, because we cannot let them control our lives. Fascists thrive on the idea of inevitability. They are not inevitable. They're just right now. And we have to deal with what is right now, which means observe, record, and prosecute. Like Walter said, like Corinne has said, is talk to your local community members, talk to your sheriff's department, talk to your elected sheriff, because you elect sheriffs. Talk to your sheriff and find out what their opinion is on ICE and their opinion on the activities and what they are doing to either deputize citizens without weapons to ensure that they have lawful means of protecting their communities. How are they ensuring that they are protecting? Who are they protecting? Ask that question. Who are you protecting? The citizens or the law enforcement agency? And if their answer is not the citizens, then they're wrong. Law enforcement is supposed to enforce laws to protect. They're not protecting. By terrorizing, they're not protecting. So go to your sheriff's office, go to your city council, go to your city commissioner, like you're the finance guy or woman or other, whoever they may be. Find out who your commissioner is, because they hold the pocketbook, the treasury. Find out who owns the treasury in your county or your town or your city or your district. Find a lot of ways to get influence from them or direction on who to speak to. They'll know. Most are helpful.
Corinne, thoughts?
This agents to like financial incentive for police departments and right now in Maryland there's going to be a bill that's coming up this session to basically get rid of 287G across the entire state. So I would encourage people to look into their states, look into at their local level to see if their police departments are part of the 287G program, and try to put, like, if there are have immigrant, they've probably programs. It's a really good thing if you already know of those who drafted bills, or trying to get your local, state representatives on board to get rid of these programs, because basically it's basically the police in bed with ICE, and it's a really, really dangerous program. And I'm, really happy to know that this bill is going to be coming up in the state legislature here in Maryland. So make sure to look at that 287G bill in your state or at your local level to see if your police department is involved in that manner.
That's
Thanks,
really
Chris.
good to know.
Yes. I'm sorry, we continue to have some connectivity issues, Corinne. I don't know if we should keep going because we got only about half of that, so I just kind of let you know. But yeah, I'm glad you said that. I also want to mention a comment that Elizabeth Sillick LaRue. I'm sorry?
I said I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. It's like we said, the tech guys are always out to get us. It's on them. I want to mention a comment Elizabeth Sillick LaRue said, and this is so important because ICE has been, the border agents have been doing this. They've been targeting the Black community. They've been targeting the Latino community for decades now. A lot of these provisions, what they've managed to weaponize now, that was put in place during the Patriot Act. They deliberately set the foundation all those years ago to create a secret police force. And throughout these years, there have been a lot of people pointing out the dangers of that. And we've been called alarmists. Oh, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Today, we're dealing with the fallout of this because they keep handing over unaccountable power to these groups. They put them outside of the rules that we've put in place to protect us and to protect innocent kids and innocent people from getting shot. And so it's just, we really need the general American public to recognize this isn't a thing that just happened a year ago. This is an ongoing problem. And this is why you really have to stop listening. Adam Kinzinger's been there every step of the way. I'm sure he was a big supporter of this Patriot Act bullshit. So none of this stuff that happened now, people that turn around like, oh, that guy's our friend now. He set all this up. All these people. Bill Clinton opined on this the other day. That guy needs to shut up and go away because they've had the power. And in 2020, again, one of my notes that's going to be coming up later today, we gave the Democrats, the establishment Democrats, the power to stop this. They had Congress, they had the presidency. They had the power to prevent this. And the establishment Democrats didn't do a goddamn thing. And then every chance they get, they turn around and blame the voters. They don't protect our rights to vote. They don't demand recounts because the Republicans cheat every fucking time. The guy in the Oval Office is a cheater. His 34 felony counts are for business fraud related to election interference. He was under indictment for cheating in 2020, and they don't even bother to do recounts in 2024. Then they have the nerve to turn around and attack the voters, even though we continue to give them power. We continue to vote for them and support them, and they continue to do nothing with the power we give them. And they act like we're alarmists when we say, hey, you shouldn't allow the Patriot Act to create an unaccountable fucking police force that can assassinate, execute people in the middle of the fucking street, and it's our fault. So you have to, everybody here, please stop supporting these assholes that created this. And it is both sides of the aisle that created this. The indifference of the Democrats, the blatant lawlessness of the Republicans. Speak out on it. And that's, put your frustration there. And those are the ones who are out there telling us lies again and promoting this violence response that is just going to get us all killed because they don't care about us. We've repeatedly given them the power to stop this. They've repeatedly failed.
Yeah.
So we have to activate now and get in representatives that'll work for us.
Yeah. We have to clean house on those who are politically clean house on those who are not doing shit. If you're not there to do anything to help the American people, to serve the public, you need to go. If you're unwilling to abolish ICE, you need to go. If you're unwilling to hold ICE accountable while abolishing ICE and not just pardon them or let them off the hook. There needs to be a true truth and reconciliation moment. We have laws that are fairly harsh in this country on certain things, and I'm not against some of them. I do think there are deserved penalties for certain things, especially when you try to purposely destroy the government and kill bunches of people. If your intent is to murder us in a criminal act, in a criminal case, whether you murder me or not, if you attempt to murder me, you can still go to jail. It is attempted murder at times. Like when health practices that they are doing are attempted murder. Things like that, taking away education and food subsidies and food is attempting to murder in policy. We can talk about it that way. Nobody ever does because Democrats are too fucking nice. So yes, it is both sides. Democrats, specifically corporate Democrats, are fascism later. They're fascist light. They want fascism later. Republicans want fascism now. Progressives don't want fucking fascism. And like, that's it. That's it. I don't want fascism. Don't want fascism. Also, there was a comment in the chat that I need to address real quick. Being Jewish, being someone who does not support Israel in pretty much any way at this point, because of the things that they are doing and the Holocaust and the genocide that they are causing in Gaza. I do not agree with Benjamin Netanyahu's government or the Israeli people who support him. All roads do not lead back to Israel for problems in America. That is a very problematic statement. That is very problematic to me. It is very anti-Semitic and is very problematic. All roads do not lead back to Israel. That is how we get to Jewish people need to go to camps because they're secret Israeli spies. Let's not go down the route of all roads lead back to Israel in America. You know what all roads lead back to in America? White fucking supremacy. Don't come at us or don't come at me with all roads lead back to Israel. You know where most roads for political strife in America actually lead back to? Russia and ourselves. White supremacy, imperialism, colonialism, the white man's burden, and the manifest destiny. Those are the problems, not Israel.
Correct. Crane, go ahead.
I understand.
Okay.
Then that's a very good clarification. Thank you for acknowledging that clarification.
Yes.
That it is not leads back to Jewish people. Be very clear when you speak on that then, because folks like me who are Jewish, who do and can trace my heritage all the way back to Israel, all roads do not lead back to Israel. That is how we get murdered. Just because one Jewish person is doing it doesn't mean we're all culpable. That's the whole thing. That's the whole problem. Like, we need to get rid of Benjamin Netanyahu, but we need to get rid of the system behind him. Just like in America, we need to get rid of the system behind Trump, not just Trump. He's a cancer. But the problem isn't just the single cancer cell. It's the fucking mass tumor that is eating our society. That's white supremacy, not roads back to Israel, just for clarification.
I'm glad they made that clarification. So thank you, wonderful people in the chat, for clarifying yourself and giving us the opportunity to see that. Corinne, we might give you like chance to give a final thought here and then let you go because of the connectivity issues. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're here. I hope we have a better technological thing next time, but go ahead and give it stabilizes after you talk for a minute. So go ahead and get started.
With the horrors that we're seeing on the streets also need, you mentioned this earlier, was what the hell's going on in the camps, because we have these concentration camps, and I have a piece coming out later today about we have to also remember all the deaths that have occurred in the detention camps in 2025, and there's already been, I think, at least 8 of them in 2026, and we're only a month into the new year. So what is going on in those camps? Since we're seeing what they're doing on camera on the streets, what are the horrors?
Yeah. And what are the horrors behind
You know?
the walls that we don't know about? Like, they have camps on
Yes.
military bases. They have camps that are
Yes.
considered black sites that we don't even know exist anywhere. We just know about a couple of them, like Alligator Alcatraz. Nobody really talks about it anymore. Or the fact that when they were told to shut down, there was a heat signature investigation done thanks to Dre's dossier. They did a deep investigation and looked at all the NASA satellite images for heat signatures and found some really, really, really disturbing looking findings of massive heat signatures a couple miles away from the Alligator Alcatraz after they were told to shut down, so that maybe evidence was destroyed, maybe bodies were burned, maybe people were murdered, maybe medical experiments were done on them, because we know that's what the Nazis did, and these people like to compare themselves to the Nazis. They're not upset by that comparison anymore. They openly embrace that comparison. Well, the Nazis practice eugenics. The Nazis practiced on people. They made medical advancements by practicing on live subjects and butchering people. They practiced terrible, terrible medical procedures on people. Guess who owns a neurochip company who is a avowed or openly avowed Nazi who has billions of dollars with zero repercussions on any action he has done, and just happens to have had a contract with a nearby hospital and university to the Alligator Alcatraz. Elon Musk owns Neuralink, which is a company that is embedding chips into your fucking brain. There were brain surgeries done in Alligator Alcatraz. Causation and correlation aren't always right and aren't always a thing, but when the pattern happens enough, it's a thing. Like, you can't just keep ignoring the pattern.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to be talking about, like, and keeping in for accountability. Like, there can be no forgiveness for those types of actions.
Correct.
And it cannot just be the people who perform the surgery or perform the act. It has to be the CEOs and the corporate boards that authorize those policies and authorize those acts to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the lack of humanity in the United States is something that we all have to talk about. I mean, at the very least, everybody download all these videos, the videos of kids in tears, getting tear gassed, the videos of people getting executed, and make the people in your sphere watch those videos, because you know they're not seeing them on the news. You have people that turn away from these facts and these videos and these testimonials that we have. I watched one today about this young man who had been detained for no reason by ICE, and he got into the compound. He said there were like these 12-year-old girls just sitting in the corner crying. And this is the kind of shit that's going on. And it's become terrifyingly clear how many Americans just don't see loss of life. If it is somebody who is Hispanic or somebody who is black, they just don't see that as a loss of life then. And these are your neighbors, and we have to hold those people accountable. When they had the strike on Venezuela that killed, the numbers are still, the last I heard was 80 plus people who were murdered in this illegal attack on Venezuela. complete loss of life, cruelty, murder by the U.S. government, executions by the U.S. government. It's unfortunate. I mean, I've been talking to people now. I go to white people and say, do you have proof of citizenship? And they don't have it because they don't, even with all this going on, they understand that our government is racist and it is engaging in ethnic cleansing. White supremacy is a philosophy of genocide. That is a fact. And they are torturing little kids. And for me, I mean, it's not an easy thing to have to grapple with. And I understand the impulse for people to deny it. You deny these just horrible, horrible truths, but all that does is make you an enabler of further atrocities against human beings. And I don't like to, but I've been in situations where I've seen these things happen to kids. I've seen it. And once you've seen it, you change, and you every time you hear about it at that point going forward, it hurts, and it should hurt, because these are kids and this is our country that's doing this to kids, and it's our taxpayer money. So we're all enablers of these transgressions against children. So we have to find our courage and have these hard conversations first with the people in our sphere. Make them watch the videos that are available. I mean, and then you understand, you take the next step of knowing there's all these atrocities that have not yet been documented that are happening. So there needs to be this sense of urgency. But our response is to not be violent. Our response is to organize and to make people see the truth and to rip away the blinders that they've put in their face, those indoctrinated blinders. They've been groomed not to act and to surrender their power. And so many people are speaking words of frustration and they're speaking nonsense just because they don't know what else to do. They're like deer caught in a forest fire who run into the flames rather than run to safety. So that's what we have to avoid, and that's what we're here having these conversations to do. Give you that direction. One person at a time. Again, you don't have to run for president. We change this one person at a time. Talk to the other parents on your child's basketball team. Talk to the school board. Talk to the teachers. School board meetings are super important. You can, anytime you have an opportunity to go make a public speech, go do that. And bring your video. Show the video of these things happening. Make people watch. Make people see the truth. Because we're living in this era of lies. We're living in an era where if you repeat the words of Charlie Kirk, you can lose your job. But then the president is allowed to call people who are executed, innocent people who are executed, he's allowed to call them terrorists without any evidence whatsoever. That's what we have to flip. There have to be consequences for slandering the character of people that have been executed by the government. And we have to have the right to speak truth about horrible people who preach words of hatred and violence. And we have to completely flip the script, hold the lawless accountable, and elevate the lawful to positions of power.
And I'm writing in the chat right now, which is why seem a little unfocused. Is I'm inviting Elizabeth Select LaRue. I hope I said that correct. I'd love to invite you to a show coming up show. Love to have your opinion on this, especially because I read your comment about the propaganda reaching Mexico and Belize and having to tell people outside of the U.S. how bad Trump is, and how we need to, because I put out a note this yesterday, I think it was, or the other day, full well knowing that people were going to comment on it probably negatively at some points, was we are winning the narrative right now. We own the narrative. We are the narrative. We are driving the narrative, which means people are listening to us. People are starting to listen to what we have to say. Awesome, Elizabeth. Walter and I will reach out and we'll get you set up on a date for us.
Elizabeth,
that'll be so awesome.
Good friend. I love her. She's great.
Oh, that'll be so awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Is we need to shit, I derailed myself.
Yeah. No, we can let Corinne offer some other thoughts if she can.
Yeah. Yeah, Corinne, offer your thoughts, because I derailed myself and I can't even remember at the moment.
Oh no, I think Walter kind of said it all. And I know it's been sort of hard to hear me anyway, but thanks for those comments. This has been, a very difficult last few days, I think, for all of us. So,
that's what it was. Yeah, the narrative.
Okay, go ahead then, Nick.
Sorry, I was saying we were winning the narrative
Yeah.
And someone commented, well, then why did Alex Preddy die? Why was he murdered? My response to that is because I can't control what a violent lunatic is going to do with a gun to shoot somebody 10 times. But what I can control is how we respond to it and how we talk about it. We won the narrative and are winning the narrative because we were faster than the propaganda. We came out faster and in a more consistent way than the propaganda did. Like, that's what we did. The immediately, once everybody heard what happened, they stopped what they were doing and they went into, we need to understand what just happened here, but we need to report on it and do it while we're reporting on it and investigate it with other people on live streams, and people see the truth. And you know what? We won. We won the narrative. Is Alex Preddy dead? Yes. I can't change that. He was a VA nurse. He was an ICU nurse. Also, I'll go back to that after. Thanks, Elizabeth. I saw your comment. He was a VA ICU nurse, and he was murdered while saving a woman from being pepper sprayed, who was just helping a community member who was in need of support. He died for that. He was executed for that. Our response has to be so much bigger without any violence. Without any violence. It is not violent to withhold dollars from a business. It is not violent to stand in the street with a sign and a whistle and a bullhorn. It is not violent to let your voice be known where you are not threatening people. It is not violent to collectively organize and get together and use your systems within your communities or your work or your union or your teachers association or your nurses union or whatever it may be. Use those systems because they're what's going to work together. And I also want to put an update, not a for you, Walter, on the number out of Venezuela. Was Elizabeth, I think, said 109.
My heart goes out to them. That's awful.
My heart goes out to them too because of murder, senseless murder. Just so what? We could capture Nicolas Maduro. What has that done? What good has that act done for the people of Venezuela? What good has it done for the people of the United States?
Yes. And the U.S. goes and destabilizes countries in South America, and then it complains when people come in desperation to the United States. It's so offensive. Get the hell out. America can't run America. You can't do a better job in South America. You can't install your bullshit white supremacy ideology in South America because it will be rejected there, because the people of South America are kind and loving people who value human life, unlike fucking Americans, is the reality. And so, yeah, we just have to talk. We have to turn this country back, and we have to make people see. It's like we have to talk to the little old grandma who bakes cookies for the people in her neighborhood, but then goes and votes for a guy who openly brags about sexually assaulting women. That's the bizarre gap that we have to close in the United States. You have to recognize if you're voting for a man who openly brags about sexually assaulting women, you are a bad person. There's no consolidating that in your head. It has to stop. And it goes all the way back to allowing a Patriot Act to be signed into law that that sets the foundation for a secret police that ends up with good people getting executed in the street. So this is the big problem that we have to look at, and we have to demand permission to speak about these things.
Yes. Corinne, your thoughts on that? And it's at the top of the hour.
Well, I was going to say there's going to have to be some sort of. I know from an inside side, the administration talked about that, but then they obviously didn't do anything about it. And this is going to be desperately needed once these sadists are out of power.
Yes. I've been talking about that. We just need to pressure our Democrats to come and talk to these small podcasts like this, because they don't talk to like the small creators.
Yeah.
They're insulated. They listen only to their big media guys, the guys who live in mansions, who have flooded Substack, by the way, to suppress these smaller voices like us who are willing to tell the truth. So yeah, that's part of it too. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really important. Is we need to figure out, well, we not need to figure out we need to put pressure on our leaders through, like we keep talking about, through money, through their donations, because until we get money out of politics, the only way we're going to impact it is with our dollars. Is we pressure the donors, we pressure the local officials. We don't have to directly pressure the politician. You can pressure everything around the politician that goes, there you go. You don't get your money that you so love because that business doesn't support you anymore. Or that business has decided that the way that it's going to support you is you need to change your policy stance or they're done. So we have that power and we have to demand it. This is the moment where we are remembering that we are not passive Americans. Americans are not passive people. Americans are passionate. Americans are brave. Americans want to show courage and dignity and respect. That's the America I fought for. That's the America I dream for and that I continue to fight for. But fighting doesn't mean violence.
Correct.
On offense doesn't mean violence. I'm on offense. And it's one of those things too where we're learning to reuse words. We're learning to check what we do right and wrong and evaluate ourselves. And we have to ask, how are we impacting our communities? What are we doing good or bad for our communities, and self-evaluating on that. And there was a mention in the chat about it's all a distraction from the Epstein files. No, it's not. It's not. We got to stop thinking everything's a distraction. Like, one, the work that we are doing to culturally change America is what prevents the Epstein files from staying a thing. We cannot stop the Epstein files by just going, oh, Trump, you bad, and putting him in jail. We cannot stop pedophile networks and human trafficking networks such as ICE, because that's what they're doing. They're kidnapping children and trafficking them, and women. We don't ever hear about where the women and girls and boys go. We don't ever hear about where the kids go. We only hear about where the men go. We don't ever hear, that's human trafficking. They trafficked a child to entrap their family. And yes, it's probably not entrapment legally, but that was an entrapment. They trapped that family to make that they used a fucking child to capture a family. You know how much fucking trauma that kid has gone through now? That's trafficking. That's abuse. We cannot stop that system by just saying, oh, Trump bad, by saying everything's a distraction. We have to break the system of white supremacy. That's what all of this is. It is based on a system of supremacy, be it white supremacy, be it Christian supremacy, be it Jewish supremacy, be it whatever fucking supremacy you think it is or that it is. It is a supremacy mindset of we deserve this because inherently it's ours. That is the mindset. That is the myth of America that we are breaking. We have to be willing to break the myth of America and say we are flawed and we need to learn. Elizabeth Raven, our friend out of Venezuela, told me while we were on a discussion, you didn't know, but now you do. And so I took that to heart, is when I don't know something and now I do, maybe I didn't have the right information before. And so, Corinne, I want I think we're gonna let you go for the day. But I want to give you the opportunity to sell yourself and the work that you're doing and where people can find you. Um, we're not ending our show, folks. We have our second segment that we'll be doing and for the second half. Don't worry, but we're going to be giving Corinne her some time back and let her go for the day. This has been such a wonderful discussion, and I really do want to have you back for some more shows, and hopefully when you're not feeling a little ill too, and hopefully you're fully above the weather the next time we have you. So let me pull up your QR code here.
So I can be. Oh, okay. Thanks.
Oh, I'm hiding my face. So, Corinne,
Yes.
if you can sell yourself, I'll let you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Find me on Corinne's Substack. I write about history and philosophy. And if you become a paid, half the funds go to a family in Gaza. So that's just a note for that family that I help out. They do have a bank. The banks do work actually in Gaza. So so I just wanted to make that point as well, because every penny counts. So enough about me.
That's important. That's really important. And I'll make sure, Corinne, can you send me that link that you were for the family that you're supporting, and we'll add it to the show notes for today.
Yeah, I have a GoFundMe. But is about the GoFundMe.
Perfect.
Thank you. And Corinne, thank you so much for today.
Too.
Thanks so much, Corinne. Love you. Thanks for all your work.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Corinne. Have a great day.
Thanks.
And that was, let me hide her. We'll keep it up for a second. That was Corinne. Thank you for joining us today. That was a lot of fun. I'm sorry we had a little bit of tech difficulties, but that's okay.
I love her. She's wonderful. Her articles are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
We were just saying before, all these wonderful people we've gotten to meet on Substack, all these brilliant minds. It's helped me get through this year, just knowing all these smart people are out there. Like I said, I used to hate like collaborative projects in school. I'm just like, because I wrote about it. I'm like, I was tasked with finishing the project before the other two kids ate all the paste, and I never seemed to win because I was outnumbered. But these days, all these brilliant people, and it lifts my heart. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, and for everyone in the audience, don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We're moving into the second half of our show. We've got another hour left with us.
Yeah.
We do 2 hours. Wow. By the way, for programming note, Natasha, we are going to have to reschedule with you for next week. We'll reach out, both of us.
I'll probably chat with her next week, and then we'll reschedule for the both of us too. So
okay, sounds great.
I'll still be on with Natasha next week.
Perfect. That sounds great. I have a doctor's appointment. I have my annual physical, and I don't want to miss that. Sometimes it's good to be checked up and made sure I'm still healthy, and see what other problems I can get assessed or how they can help me.
We need you in the long haul there, Nick. We need you for the next
I'm trying.
50 years,
I'm trying.
At least
I'm trying. I got years left. My wife and I made a deal that we at least have to get to 80 together, which means we've got plenty of years left.
I promise I will never die.
I will not
Team
die
America
for a while.
Yeah.
And this has been, I think one of the things too is this has just been a really good way to remind ourselves that we need to stay focused at home too.
Yes.
And what community means to us, and how we build our relationships at home to fix things that are broken. Because my goal is, like, I haven't pushed family members away, and I know that's really hard for some, and I'm in a place that I don't have to push family members away, even those who I disagree with on issues, because I have made a concerted effort to give love and to work on a relationship with them and build respect, and through that respect and through that, the shared communication on this and our differing opinions, is I've broken through. And because we own the narrative, because truth has a bias towards progress. And to do that, it takes time. So we're consolidating that into these shorter time periods to give ourselves a moment to say, do the hard work too.
Yeah.
Our battle is the hard work, not the easy side. The easy way out is to shoot people.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's the easy way out. Like it's the wrong way, but that's the easy way out. That's how they see it, because they don't see any repercussions, because they see that they can do it, because they see that it's their right. They believe that they are inherently gifted or inherently predisposed to have this. They think it's theirs. They think you belong to them. Ownership. That's what we're breaking down. So, like, I don't focus on the Epstein files as much because Ellie does. Ellie Leonard and Zev Shalev do an incredible job at it. And I boost their work, and I boost what they do, and I talk with them about it. But that's not my main focus, because I'm better at other things. And like Walter said, this is a team project.
Yeah.
And I wasn't always good at those growing up. And I'm learning how to be much better in a group project setting like this. And realizing where I need help too, and what I'm not good at, and what others can be, even if I'm good at, where others are better at.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say too, I think our job, in addition to uncovering what's in the Epstein files, we have to help educate the general population to accept the truth once the truth comes out, because there's a lot of people in our society that just have that veil over their eyes. They just don't see things, and it's up to every single one of us, because I'm afraid that, it's like the Epstein files isn't going to show anything. It's impossible for me to have a lower opinion of all the names that have already been associated with the Epstein files, no matter what we see. And just that we know that there's so many people in our society who have seen evidence of how awful all these people are, that they've conditioned themselves to be blind to the proof. And I always say too, it's like the right, through rote conditioning, they make their base accept a white supremacy narrative that makes them deny reality. So we have to dismantle that mechanism too. So that's a two-part program: finding the actual evidence and the information, and also dismantling that system that makes so many of our neighbors and people in our community blind to truth. And I mean, what Nick said too, I mean, I've tried really hard with people in my family. They used to play with my kids. My wife is an immigrant. They knew them. They played with my children. They claimed they loved them. And they voted for my kids to endure oppression and abuse. And so I did I'll unapologetically say I feel I'm as good a communicator as anybody, and I couldn't get through to them. I've tried. So it's like, I'm so glad, Nick, that you found strategies to get through to people, but I also want to say there's some people you're not getting through to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And know where that limit too is. Like, you're not going to win everybody back. You're not going to convince all people. There will always be a group of people that can't be convinced. And there's a ton of people that will be convinced.
Yeah.
Because they need to understand what it means to impact them. Because America is built on a system of, Americans have been lied to that we are built on a system of rugged individualism. We are not.
Nope.
The American system is collectivism. The American system is a collectivism system. The founding fathers, good or bad for who they are, put together and collected their wealth into a single national treasury. They gave away their wealth to found this nation. They gave away their wealth. They pledged their sacred oath, honor, and lives and dignity to the nation. We have people sitting here who would rather see it burn down because they're getting taxed $1 more than they think they should. And I'm talking billionaires and people like that. It's okay to call those people out and tell people in our families and make them see that they're no different than we are. It's we find the common ground, and if they're unwilling to see it, okay, that's on them. End it. At some point, protect your emotional space and go, yep, okay, you're not
Yeah.
worth the discussion. You're not worth it until you're ready to make a change. You're not in my life. And
Yeah.
that tends to make a really big impact
Yes.
on people. Tends
Somebody
to make a
asked
really big impact.
about what to say to people who say I agree to disagree. I just tell that's a white supremacy argument. I mean, there is verifiable fact, there is integrity, there are actions that hurt people. You can't look at a child being abused and then tell me that that's not what's happening and that we have to agree to disagree. Fuck that. And yes, I mean, do not be afraid to tell grandparents, you're never seeing your grandkids again, asshole. If you're going to vote for their death, fuck you. And this entitlement of people to not care about the future of our children and then demand. It's like ghosting people is one of the only times Republicans ever are forced to endure accountability because this society is so corrupt. Somebody said too, other countries have social programs. The United States have women. We just make women do all the things that just men refuse to recognize are the hardships. And it's unfair. These men were perverted. They expect women to be like their psychiatrists, even though at the same time, oh, I'll just get a wife and she'll fix me. It's up to you to fix yourself, buddy.
Yeah.
And you have to be a participant in your life and to the lives of your children and all these things. I mean, just this massive structure of intolerance and abuse that we've all normalized and we have been trained to be silent about, trained to think we can't even talk about it. We have to talk, and through talking. Because in this last year, Nick and I together have talked a lot. I've learned so much from Nick. But in addition to that,
it's so amazing.
And it's just the companionship and the encouragement and saying, you know what, that actually is right. And then we go through the week after we touch bases once a week. And then it's like, what happened to you this week? And it's just sort of like, you were right to do this, or maybe this you could have done better. But it's just that encouragement and continue to go forward. And in this year, we've come so far. And it just opens the eyes. Once we get everybody thinking this way, we can quickly have it can be amazingly fast. I know I feel overwhelmed with depression and frustration and fear, but change can happen astonishingly fast. So just keep coming back, everybody.
Yeah. And one of the things Walter, I want to acknowledge and give you so many props for. And I hope you take this compliment in all the amazing, and I hope this helps make your day better.
Good.
You got a really nice compliment from Neurodivergent Hodgepodge yesterday.
Okay.
We were talking about accountability and ableism on the sick or on chronically illing out and using ableist words or even accidentally and not knowing. And she corrected you on a word choice. And you responded by fixing it, by doing the thing and going, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to be more conscious. I want to give you huge props because that's exactly what we're talking about. If you want a example of what it means to be an intelligent man in America right now, look to Walter Rhein, because he took the criticism and the critique as a learning chance and not an attack, because it wasn't personality. It was a mistake. And now you know, now you grow. And Walter embodied that. And so, Walter, I just wanted to give you an awesome shout out for that. I hope that.
Thank you.
And Neurodivergent Hodgepodge, you're freaking amazing too.
Yeah.
Today's conversation was so wonderful. And you have helped re-inspire me to focus on additional word choices that I may use or not use, and being very specific as to why I talk about men the way I do, and why I refuse to degrade women when I talk about men and pieces like that. Because, like you said, Walter, we have, instead of social services in the US, we have women. And then behind it, we have demonized social services in the US so much. We have made them to be the demons too.
Yeah.
Like CPS, Child Protective Services, could be a wonderful organization that people want to go to and be like, hey, I'm having trouble at home. I need support. I'm down on whatever. Like, I need support. We have demonized social services in this country to a point that it's so
Yeah.
hard to see that they are useful. Like, people
Mhm.
are afraid of social services in the US.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been made to be afraid of them.
Yeah.
We have to stop being afraid of social services in the US. Like,
Yes.
that is part of, yes, and CPS is very flawed. I'm not protecting CPS in any way. They are a very flawed organization. The entire family planning council of like courts and that system is one of the most prevalent groups of human trafficking and abuse. They cause a lot of it, and they allow children to go into very dangerous situations in family
Yeah.
court. And that needs to be addressed too. This is all part of it. Like, if you want to stop the Epstein network,
Yeah.
fix family court, fix the adoption system, fix the idea of ownership of children,
Mm-hmm.
fix the system for support.
Yep.
And
We
we
also
can
have to
do that. No,
we
that
also
was it.
we also have to talk about how the Pentagon hasn't passed an audit in
Yes.
decades, and all the waste that goes into the military budget, because it's only when the government uses funds to help people who are marginalized or are suffering that people come out in mass to attack. But anytime billions go to assholes like Elon Musk, anytime there are bailouts or PPP loans or subsidies or just fattened contracts, nobody says anything. So just that
Nope.
whole dialogue. Yes, I mean, so many people have it in their minds that we can't even, it's not even possible, something we can't even consider as universal health care. And meanwhile,
Mhm.
we spend $1 trillion on the military, and they can't account for where all that money went. And, you know, it's like we cut funding for child cancer research because they claim that's filled with fraud, and then they can't pass audits. So we have to change our minds on that. And that's hidden in there. And a lot of us have those thoughts and similar thoughts we haven't identified yet. So that's the process too.
Yeah. And I want to make sure to address a comment in the chat, because around the Sasha Riley story,
Boy. Yeah.
I see a lot of inconsistencies, and I believe the information that Ellie has uncovered and the analysis that Ellie Leonard has provided and the analysis that Zev Shalev have provided around this. We need to be very careful about stories that are coming out from the Epstein files that are unverifiable. And Jason, if you have read proof, then put it out, or have them put it out. But Ellie Leonard has put out an incredible investigation into it, and I see the truth of what she is writing, because she's not trying to convince me or us any other way. But it is an unverifiable story by the timelines of how when and how Epstein and Trump met each other. And stories like that, where it is really unverifiable in other places, is like, those can really hurt survivors. Those can really hurt victims. And I want survivors to come forward. Especially if there are men, I want men to be who were boys at the time to be able to come forward. I don't want to dismiss, and I'm not dismissing the Sasha Riley story, but I am saying I don't know and see the consistencies of the Epstein connection.
Yeah.
Maybe his story happened. Maybe he did have something exactly like that happen to him, and it wasn't about Trump or
Yeah.
Maybe it was Epstein, but Trump wasn't there. I don't know. I'm not defending either way. But what I'm saying is we need the documents out. We need people subpoenaed, and we need people to tell the truth. And we have to be very cautious about the truth and about ensuring that we correct ourselves. And if it comes out that the Sasha Riley case is a full, real event and everything is verifiable or verified enough that we all believe the truth of it, then I will apologize for this. I will apologize for saying it.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time believing that one because of the inconsistencies around the timeline. So just saying, I don't want to derail our conversation into that, because that's really not what we are here to talk about right now.
I just want to add too. I think the president's name is the least important name in those files. We have to go after all the bankers and all the professors and all the other people, and just focusing like on some salacious, really extreme story involving the president. That's missing the power of the Epstein files. We have to dismantle that entire financial structure that supported this. And all that evidence is pretty much already there. And we have to force our representatives to take action, because there is plenty of stuff has already been released where people could be sitting in jail. They should be sitting in jail. And
yes,
we need to start putting people in jail. That's process. It doesn't matter who it is, because you get the guys down at the bottom who maybe did less things. They'll start talking about the guys a little higher up. And then it all comes down like a house of cards. So don't start at the top. You start at the bottom, keep going up, find the most actionable stuff, put pressure on those people that have the least amount of power. And then we'll start seeing. And they should all know this. Our Democratic representatives should know this. They all went to Ivy League schools. They're all lawyers. They have to start doing it.
I did something weird. Things showed up weird on that. We haven't even gotten into any of our actual notes for the day, but this one sort of like rolls right into the note that Walter, you had for the day. So do you mind reading this one? Because this fits really well into what we were talking about the accountability and accusations and truth and cautiousness in how we report.
Yep. So it goes, we have to make it illegal to make false accusations. I think it already is illegal. False accusations about anyone who was killed by law enforcement. Our officials need to shut the hell up and not flap their mouths about how everyone who disagrees with them is a terrorist. The violent and false language of the political right leads directly to the loss of life and has to be stopped. This is as irresponsible as yelling fire in a crowded theater, and our representatives should face charges when caught making inaccurate statements. And they can always take a page from Mike Johnson's book and say, I don't know anything about that, even though he says that about stuff he damn well should know about. But we do have slander laws, you know? I mean, if I make an opinion, what?
Defamation laws.
Yes. And if I'm making an opinion statement, it's one thing. If the president comes out and accuses somebody as a terrorist and has no evidence to support that claim, he should be facing some, I don't know what the term is, defamation suits, slander suits. The family could probably bring it forward. They could probably be state lawsuits, so there's no pardon power. There's all kinds of things we can do is the point of this. We need some creative lawyers to start, because as I said earlier, people were losing their jobs just for reposting things that Charlie Kirk actually said. So we post the truth, we lose our jobs, we suffer repercussions. The right blatantly lies. They make false accusations about every right-wing committed assassination or execution. They get in control. And then there's just no accountability, because our representatives on the left just like shrug their shoulders and say that's the way they're going to be. But they need to look at this in terms of, yes, we got Al Capone on tax evasion. Start holding them accountable. We can't just surrender the narrative every time. And that's what the Democrats do. They just surrender. They allow the Republicans to program the people. They don't have any right. If somebody kills my child, they don't have a right to go on the news and claim my child as a terrorist with no evidence. That's against the fucking law. And those of us here have to start demanding accountability for things like that.
Yes. I think that's like, we not only demanding accountability, but getting accountability for it. Like the fact that defamation is a thing, and Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller should be sued for defamation. And I'm going to leave Donald Trump out of this for a moment. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a moment, because that's I have a conversation on that I want your opinion on. But all of these who are non-elected officials
Yeah.
can be sued for defamation when they make false statements and accusations about someone's character. One of the things I said on Saturday while on the show was while I was on Banner and Backbone reporting on Alex Preddy's death, was I really hope that his family put together a defamation suit for the incoming attacks and slander on his character, because they're going to do that, and it's illegal. He's not a terrorist.
Yeah.
You the idea. So here's my thought: is defamation and slander are really hard to prosecute for politicians, because we have, in my opinion, we have taken the speech and debate clause to mean that politicians have free reign to say whatever the fuck they want, whenever they want. However, in my opinion, the speech and debate clause only protects them when they are in session in Congress and speaking specifically about congressional matters, and not just everyday shit that they say. What do you think? Do you think, because I think we need to fix that, because I think that allows white men specifically to stand out there and say some of the most horrendous racist shit possible and have no repercussions. And yes, I want to make sure clear too, before Walter jumps in, on my point from earlier about the Sasha Riley story.
Yeah. So
I don't disbelieve that Sasha Riley was abused. I do not disbelieve that. I absolutely believe that this individual was abused. I am just saying we need to be cautious on the verifiable and unverifiable information about who the abusers are and who the person was, and does the story line up. That's all. And thank you for everyone in the chat who supported and gave their feedback on what I said. I think it's important so that I can learn, because I don't want to defame Sasha Riley or that story. And I don't want to downplay the significance of that type of abuse. And we need to be careful so that we don't turn into these folks making false accusations and lying about things that happen inadvertently or on purpose. But I think specifically around law enforcement, if it's not a law, it really fucking should be. Like, you shouldn't be able to speak about the murder of somebody as a law enforcement or as a official in a branch or a system where you are part of, like, a department head or Christy Nome or something like that, or Greg Bavino, until real facts have been found.
Yes.
And an independent investigation has been done, not just by your department or your branch saying, yep, we cleared, nothing happened, because we know CBP has cover-up units. So we don't trust anything you fucking do.
Yeah. I want to say, I think this is what you brought up is great. And an issue on the left too often is people say they give up in advance because they think it has a low chance of succeeding. But it's not. Don't be results oriented. You're not doing this to get a conviction. You're doing this to provide pressure on these officials to stop lying, And so too often our fucking feckless Democrats who have the power to just say, hey, you can't call that person a terrorist. They'll just come in with it's really hard to get that conviction, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the right is filing nonsensical lawsuit after nonsensical lawsuit. They just get tossed out of the court. But before they get tossed out, they get headlines, they get people talking about it. It's not that hard to figure out how the right is winning every narrative battle, because the left refuses to do a goddamn thing. And the fact is, yes, if you bring forth a lawsuit, even one of merit, it might not win, but it's not going to get tossed out, And if you happen to get the luck of the draw, you get a decent judge, you can win these cases. It's not a slam dunk guarantee, but in the meantime, you can win the dialogue and say, we're suing that guy for defamation of character. You say that. And that's how you program the public to understand that they're lying, so that the next time some MAGA asshole assassinates somebody like Melissa Hortman, the right isn't able to just instantly come out and claim it was a left-wing terrorist without any evidence whatsoever, like they do every fucking time, which feeds right into their law and order bullshit, which they're currently using to attack completely innocent people who they claim to be illegals. Even the only people who are legal are the guys in the Oval Office and the white supremacists they've hired and given badges and guns and promised a complete lack of accountability. So we just have to go through the motions and start demanding accountability for these lawless actions, because we have this. The law is on our side, and the law is a living thing. And if we don't tend it, it dies and it becomes a tool of the enemy, which the right has managed to do. So we need to activate our politicians, make them start suing these people for defamation when they say, I mean, our police chiefs shouldn't come up and say a bunch of bullshit. They should talk only about the evidence that they have. And we have to make that change. We have to activate that change in our representatives.
Yeah, and thinking about like lawsuits and things. Yes, those are expensive. Yeah, I don't have the money for lawsuits either. This is where we need to This is where we need to continue adding more pressure in a positive way.
Yeah.
In a way where they see the reward on folks who are in the celebrity communities. Folks like Billie Eilish, who donated so much fucking money, who has given so much back.
Yeah.
Reward her for that.
Yeah.
And then ask her to continue doing more and encourage her to get her friends involved. Because the cycle of positive reinforcement is what we're like. The illegal acts and false accusations is a cycle of negative reinforcement.
Mhm.
That is what we are being trained into. It's Pavlov's dog and being trained by that stupid little fucking clicker. Well, Pavlov was trained by the clicker too. He had an emotional response too. We need to start training ourselves with a new clicker, with a new button, which is celebrate the wins and do the things together. So we need to get a group together, which is what we're trying to do. And we are continuing to do, is we need all of us out there pressuring in good ways and then rewarding them for it. Folks like Billie Eilish, Mark Ruffalo, Keanu Reeves, folks on those vein who are amazing people already, have them bring out even more, because they know, folks, they have networks we don't. We need funding to build the systems. One of those systems is a system of support for legal funds. Like, well, we can't afford that ourselves, but there are some really rich folks who can. And it's on us to start tagging them, because Mark Ruffalo's on Substack. You can tag him. He shared a piece by Qasim Rashid Esquire. He shared one of Qasim's pieces, and Qasim got on, and they had I think they had an interview or something, or a discussion, and that Qasim got, like, he's done some amazing things, like the ACLU and groups like that. Yes, but the ACLU is not enough.
Yeah,
there's millions of lawyers in America, yet we only have the ACLU and like one or two others. Why? The conservative side have 500 or 5,000 or 5 million different legal groups that are all getting donations and money through black market channels. Like, they're doing everything illegally. Why don't we just do it out in the open in the front legally, and with some fucking pride behind it, and say, I get $10 million system of lawyer, that secondary system of lawyer, like our Courtney said in the chat, most of a lawsuit be audited. Most research could be done, and we could help build for lawyers to use to help us. We need folks in the background. And I'm working with Courtney, who's a really good friend of mine, on the Banner and Backbone side too, is we're getting community support forms put together on like how to be able to volunteer and become part of like the overall a volunteer network to build these parallel systems, because we need lawyers who are willing to take up these cases, and we need people to know that they have money behind them so that they're not going to go broke trying to win a defamation case that their murdered, executed son or spouse or daughter or whoever they may be, because someone else is going to get executed. They're going to get defamed in the process. Like, we doing the action is important, because then you show that you're committed to the process. Laws only enforce themselves when we make it happen. And laws and political movements are downstream from culture. And when we fix the cultural aspect, which is what Walter and I work on a lot on the white supremacy side, and on the masculinity side, is when we fix that, it has a very big ripple effect. It is I know I'm going downwards, but it's really a bottom-up system. We're breaking the trickle-down effect, because that's everything that is the false accusations, is trickle-down truth. We're bringing truth from the ground up and rebuilding a system. Because, as I say in my note, I'll share one of my notes.
Let me just say real quick too. The right seems to have endless funds, and that's another reason why I think that's why the Pentagon can't pass a budget. I think that money's being diverted out of those budgets. I think money's being diverted out of the military budget, and that's why these right-wing hate groups have endless amount of money for frivolous lawsuits. And that's why, we have to push back. You put pressure on people with that effort. I mean, don't concede in advance. They say that's why we play the games, right? The other team's heavily favored. Let's play anyway. Let's play. And I mean, you're gonna get pressure for going after these people. But once they've assassinated, once they've executed your child, what do you have left to lose? What do you have left to lose? So let's empower the people that have endured these horrific losses to get some sort of justice, using our legal structure. And maybe they win and then it is appealed, and maybe they lose after 3 appeals, or maybe they lose at the Supreme Court. Who gives a shit? You got to pressure those assholes for years. You had to make them spend money to defend themselves. This is what GoFundMe is for. Use these lawsuits, get out there and demand justice for the dead, because they're fucking executing us, and they're not going to stop until we hold them accountable.
And because we deserve nice things.
Yes.
Like I said in this note, is we deserve nice things, and we deserve the investment in us. And that's what we have been told we don't deserve, is we don't deserve nice things in America. We shouldn't have healthcare. We shouldn't have other things, because we're not worth the investment. Only those billionaires are worth the investment. Well, fuck that. We deserve nice things. We deserve the investment. Demand ICE be abolished. Demand universal health care. Demand universal education. Demand universal food services. Demand a wealth minimum. Demand a wealth maximum. That's what we should be demanding. That is the platform. That's the platform. That's what we should have for a Democratic platform, or whatever party platform we want to call it, because if the Democrats don't want to do it, then they don't deserve it. This is basically the policy platform. This is a pretty condensed version of what the policy platform of the Progressive Party of the Democrats is universal health care, universal education, universal food services, provide a wealth minimum, wealth maximum. A wealth minimum means everyone is guaranteed a basic universal income, because we deserve the investment, because all of our information and data and shared knowledge and wealth of information and tax dollars have gone into fund these systems, which are not giving us any return. We deserve the return on our investment. Republicans believe that government is a business. Well, businesses give you a return on investment. I want mine back, which means a universal basic income where everybody gets wealth, because guess what? AI is going to make a shitload of fucking money. And it's going to cause everyone to lose their fucking jobs in the process. And we have to understand both things are true at once. It's going to consolidate wealth more into smaller hands. So demand a wealth maximum. because then all that money comes back to us. And then we don't get the unauditable Department of Defense because they've never passed an audit ever, which means they're stealing money.
Yes.
Demand a wealth minimum and a wealth maximum because those things will fix most problems. Demand universal food services, education, and healthcare because those three things plus a maximum and minimum amount of money and wealth will fix 95% of the fucking problems in our country.
Yep.
Because most of our problems are built on the fact that we oppress our own citizens.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a problem. And how do we stop oppressing our citizens? We abolish ICE.
Yeah. Embrace this. And it's such a wonderful note. Because once you live by integrity, things just start getting better. And people have seen if you spend money on education, you don't have to spend as much money on prisons, But all of us, we can't be coerced by that lie that we have to make the responsible choice or asking for too much is too much of a risk. Disregard that. That's the lesser of two evils bullshit. It coerces you into voting for evils. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Most people don't. They live their lives of quiet desperation. This is Thoreau. We've known that for years. Shake that off. Shake off your fears. You only get one life. Make every action an action of kindness and compassion and integrity. Do that. Don't listen to these arguments that compel you to become an agent or an enabler of evil. That's what we have to change. That's the fundamental culture of the United States. The progressive promise is not unreasonable to ask for. Disregard that lie and that manipulation, as Nick says. The only thing that's going to work is everything he's got listed right there. That's the only thing. It's a big task, but once you know the enormity of what's up against us, and you actually have a means of getting there, we just have to get to work, roll up our sleeves.
And here's my question this is a rhetorical question, but this is my question to people that I ask is, even if we don't get all the way there, isn't getting 90% of the way there better than none of it?
Yeah.
Isn't having a better wealth minimum system or maximum system in place better than having neither? Isn't it better to have working and auditable and increasing levels of food services or education or healthcare than not having it at all?
Yep.
The argument of, do you want healthcare or not, is I want healthcare. So let's at least get part of the way there, because if we don't demand all of it, we won't even get part of it. If we don't demand the things that are valuable and necessary so that we can all live above Maslow's hierarchy of needs on those basic necessity levels of food, safety, and security, once we get those, guess what, guys? Guess what, gals? Guess what, everybody in between? We're 90% of the way there.
Yeah.
Then we can actually do the hard work. Then we can do the real stuff. Then we can do the humaning side. Once you take care of the basics, we get to do the humaning side, the bettering of ourselves. That's where we abolish ICE. And instead of funneling $70 billion or $100 billion or whatever the fuck random ass, massive, stupid amount of our money is going to murder people, that would be going to houses. That would be going to food. That would be going to schools and paying for our teachers. That would be going to rebuilding roads and bridges and building a system of energy in our country that is reusable and renewable and lasting. That would be going to, I don't know, fixing climate damage that we have done on an unprecedented level. And, it's cold as shit here in Arkansas. It's been cold as shit here in Arkansas for a couple days now. Colder than it normally is. Everybody's under an extreme freeze warning. I've been under an extreme freeze since Thursday or Friday. This doesn't have to be the normal. We can fix a lot of these things. And global change, that'll be the hardest. Global climate change, that's one of the hardest. That said, we need to at least try.
Yeah.
Like, we need to
Yeah.
at least try. And
Yeah.
for me, part of that trying to is we have blown through our 2 hours, and we have
That's all right.
not
I
even
got a little more time.
we
Or
have
are you
not
busy?
even gotten to our artwork.
Well, let's at least get some of the artwork in.
Yeah, we're done with the notes. Actually, I've got one other note that I'm going to show. This is a PSA. This is a public service announcement note, and not something that was caught by it was caught up in all of the
that's
stuff
important,
going on and lost. And this one is really important. Talked about it yesterday with Shane Urich and with American Citizen. Over the weekend, it was reported by multiple outlets and confirmed by multiple outlets that over 149, nearly 150 million unique login credentials across almost every major web browser and web service were leaked in the clear, meaning your credentials were accessible without authentication or authorization. Somebody was able to get them. There's a breakdown of some of the numbers: 48 million in Gmail, 4 million in Yahoo, 900,000 in iCloud, 1.4 million .edu addresses, education addresses, 17 million Facebook, 100,000 OnlyFans, 420,000 Binance users, crypto, and your personal images if you are an OnlyFan. If you're a creator on OnlyFans, that's how revenge porn happens. Yeah. That's how sexual abuse happens, and people get trafficked and taken because your stuff was stolen. If you have a credential on the internet, change it and add two-factor authentication to whatever you're doing. You don't have two-factor authentication on, you're probably wrong. Turn on two-factor identification. So this is just a public service announcement of, please go check your stuff, because 150 million user credentials were leaked.
Yeah.
And set up credit reports, or make sure you keep your phones and your emails. Look at your emails and your phones, because you're probably going to get some phishing attempts. Do not click on links you do not know. If you do not know that phone number, you don't have to answer. If you don't know that text message, you don't have to respond.
They'll leave a message if it's they'll contact you by mail if it's important. I don't even hardly ever answer my phone.
And don't freeze your credit. Don't freeze yourself. Don't freeze your assets and hurt yourself because this data breach happened. Protect yourself. Freezing yourself is the go to 0 to 100 moment. We have to understand how to not go 0 to 100 in this situation too. Like, don't freeze all your credit. Instead, go buy an incognito account or a delete me account and put your 3 most useful or used email addresses on there and delete all your stuff and have them prune the internet for your stuff. Be proactive, not reactive. Be proactive, not reactive. If you think your credit card is stolen and your credit company allows you to turn on and off and pause your card, absolutely. Like, if you know if you've seen transactions going, be smart though. Just don't freeze yourself out. Like, don't hurt yourself because somebody else stole your stuff. Be proactive. Delete yourself off the internet. Delete me or incognito. They're worth it. They are worth it. I'm not paid or sponsored by them. They are worth it from a user who uses them. And get a VPN. Like, want to have some safety, do that and set up the alerts. But public service announcement, just be careful. 150 million users.
Yeah.
And those are unique users. That means 150 million different people got. And you could be on that list like 10 or 12 times. Who knows? They could have a lot of your stuff. If you have an OnlyFans or an account like that where you are a creator, be very careful too. Make sure you guard your images and your personal data and your videos and everything that is precious to you, because revenge porn is illegal and it's abusive and it's hurtful and things like that are wrong. And when those things happen because of it, we are here to make sure you also have a voice to say, hey, this is not okay. And we are on your side. saying that those types of behaviors are fucking awful. That's what leads to the Epstein files and trafficking, is revenge porn and shit like that. And I'm not a financial expert in any way, so I could be wrong on freezing your credit, but freezing your credit also impacts you if you're doing other things. Like if you're buying a house, or you're in the process of buying a vehicle, or you need a loan or a credit card or something, freezing your credit can be really tough. It's a tough financial situation. Do the alerts first. Be proactive before going to 100. Like, don't just go to 100. Use your emotion mind and your intelligence mind, and go into a wise mind state of, what do I actually need to do? Stop and think for a sec.
Yeah.
Most proactive thing to do right now, change your passwords, watch your accounts, put alerts up. And that's and make sure if you are, and delete yourself off the internet. And that's what I can say on that. But protect yourself however you need to, so that you're safe. But I want to transition to end our show today. We'll go a couple minutes over, because I've got an hour until my next one.
Okay. Yep,
I have Frederick Pogue coming on at
nice.
2 p.m. Eastern for intelligent masculinity discussion.
Say hi to him for me. I love him.
I definitely will. And in the audience, I may be wrong. I may be wrong, and that's okay. If I'm wrong about it, then yeah, go ahead, do whatever's the safe. I don't want people to overreact. This is just a public service announcement. Go change your credentials. Don't overreact to this. Data breaches have happened all over the place, and that's why we have services that can help us. But let's get into some love and enjoyment to end our show, is because we've got some artwork to share from our daughters for today. I know I still haven't shared any of my sons yet. I got to get some of his creative pieces up. But I want to share. We'll start with, where is it? There it is. We're going to start with Walter's daughters today.
Yeah.
Because this one's beautiful.
I did. That's an older one. I think it's my youngest who did this. And I remember she did that. I'm just like, God damn it. It's like, look at that. And I posted that the other day on Substack, and I got so many just nice comments. And it's just how brilliant they can be. I mean, she was probably 5 or 6 when she did this. And it's like, holy cow, a community painting a rainbow. Fuck. Perfect. Just what I needed to see. Just what I needed to feel. And I know it made a lot of people feel better the other day. So, I was so happy to share it.
It makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, my new icon profile picture on Substack is one of Walter's daughter's pieces, and it makes me so happy. And I'm so glad that, I love that it's just a natural thing to do. It's beautiful to draw community, and she just sort of knew to do that. I think that also reflects really highly on you and your wife, and the parenting that you have done, and the lessons you have taught, because children implicitly learn, and they know a lot more than we give them credit for, and they pick up on lessons. And I think seeing that she expressed that in artwork shows that she listens to what you and your wife are saying, and how you treat and how you act. So I think you should be proud too.
Thank you. I am so proud of them, and I've learned so much from them. And it was, just when you have your kids and you recognize there's just nothing evil there. They're just so beautiful and pure, and take the responsibility of being a parent is to not teach them all the negative things that are part of our society. And I love that little girl with her feet, the one with the high heels, but her feet are turned in. I think that's really funny.
Oh, right in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. I love the one actually painting.
Yeah.
She's got that reaching motion. You can see that she's reaching towards it. And it's just, your daughter's proportions and perspective are so on point in this drawing. She just knew how to draw. And the roller, the paint roller is amazing. The little bits of detail are so fun.
Yeah.
Makes me happy.
Yeah, me too. So thank you for sharing that. I hope it brought a little bit of a rainbow feeling to everybody. We need that. Man, we
We
do.
do. And maybe this one will bring a little joy too to people. Is from my daughter.
Yes.
Is space mushrooms. They do have hands.
Oh, they're like hugging, or they're like looking at the stars. That's what they're with the hands.
They're sitting next to each other. One has its arm wrapped around the other like a parent and a child.
Beautiful.
And they're sitting there looking up at the stars together.
Like it. Beautiful.
And we have a question of, are these paintings going to be for sale? I was actually going to talk with Walter about some of them. Is Sick of This Shit Publications is putting together its shop finally.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Because folks have asked for it. It's been lower on my priority, but folks have asked for it, and I want to make sure that I give back in that way. Is we're setting up a shop finally.
Awesome.
And we're going to do some fun things with that. And one of the things I'd love to do is see if we can share the artwork on t-shirts as t-shirt designs or coffee mugs or stickers or fun things for people to be able to just have these little bits of art in their life. And I plan on putting a sticker up for event here soon. I'm going to be changing like the Diogenes Club title screen is going to include all of the drawn icons for Evan, Eric, Walter, and myself. I think like that would be a really cute t-shirt too. Is our faces together, and it just shows off the amazingness of our kids too. While doing it. So I want to do that. I know we have some really amazing quotes and stuff that I want to do because I have a Shakespearean insult mug. I'd love to do like a Nick and Walter insult mug. And we just have like insults wrapped around because all of it's eagle jizz, which is what Frederick Pogue coined a while ago. It's performative patriotism, performative masculinity. It's eagle jizz. It goes everywhere. It's sticky. It's gross. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants it. It's hard to get away from. It's hard to get off of you, and it takes a while to get out of your clothes and your face. So we don't want any of it. So we're gonna have some fun. So just wanted to give you all that and a little bit of joy. Thank you for coming in. I had a great time.
It always is a relief to talk to you, Nick. Self-centered.
And I love getting to share our kids' artwork and joy because it's fun to be a parent who gets to have fun and talk about their kids in a positive way. Because so many other people talk about their kids so negatively or like what they did wrong. And I'm really trying to work on myself too. Eagle jizz, EIGLEJIZZ, eagle jizz. It comes out of ugly testosterone or low T beta males who call themselves alpha, who look like penises, and walk and talk like penises. And we all know they're ugly and nobody wants to see them. So put that shit away. And that's what that is eagle jizz. It's performative patriotism. Or eagle smegma, the smeglamaniac. And so we like to have fun here. We like to give you guys a little joy, but also celebrate our kids while we're doing it. And so thank you so much. All this has been so fun. I'm going to go do our thing on our last part here.
I just have to say the subtle lines of the arms of those mushrooms. I love that. They were so delicate. Like, it takes you a second. The hidden message in artwork where you're looking at it, it's like, wait a minute, what? Oh, they're embracing. And then that realization occurs to you. That's a nice moment.
I want to think that she drew it that way because she liked sitting next to one of us, her parents.
Those are good moments.
Because she said, like, my daughter will come out before, like, hi, I'm Nick. Come join me at Sick of This Shit Publications. I like to talk about stuff like this. I like to celebrate my kids. I like to think that my daughter drew that as a child parent because of what she's learned from us, because when she comes out of her room, her little cave that she likes to enjoy herself in, her way of coming and showing affection is she gives a hug. and she'll run up and give a hug or do something like slightly unexpected. And so I think I want to think that that's inspired by her own thought of like, oh, I love giving my parents a hug and sitting with them and being near them, or my grandma or my grandparents a hug, because that's what they do. And that's what we do in the house. So come join me at Sick of This Shit Publications, where you can get more of this, more of the fun, more of the joy, and a little bit of artwork from our kids. Well, not a little bit, a lot of artwork from our kids, because we share this every week. And they do go into the show notes, so you can all see them too. I like to make sure I share them. So come join me here at Sick of This Shit Publications. Lots of great stuff. You're going to see me again this afternoon with Fred Pogue. If you're watching this today on January 27th, you'll see me in an hour at 2 p.m. Eastern with Fred Pogue for Intelligent Masculinity. And I do a lot of shows like that. It's about masculinity, building a manosphere that doesn't suck, and creating a space for chronic illness discussions, and those of us who suffer from disabilities. So that's my space. I appreciate all of you for being here with us. We have such a huge crowd today. Holy crap.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
Walter, how about you, my friend? Promote yourself. Somebody said it in the chat, and I want to actually use that instead of sell yourself, because of the terminology. Is promote yourself, and how I can fix that little bit of word choices.
That is choiceage. Yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for being here. And I just want to add too, the positive reinforcement when it comes to being a parent. It works so much better. Being hard on your kids doesn't work. It's like you say kind things when they do things you want them to do. Don't scream at them when they do something you don't want. It's just, and our whole society pressures us to be so negative. So this positive stuff really helps. But yeah, thanks everybody for being here. I've been saying, I mean, Nick and I, we're trying to dismantle this mechanism that everybody else has used to exploit and abuse you, and so many of these massive creators are out there with their millions of dollars. They're not really your friends. So please, I wrote an article for tomorrow about how some people have already said, they get kicked off my newsletter list somehow. It's because we're targeted. And people like Nick and I, who are the real voices, we're real dads. We're not these fake talking heads who are paid for by who knows whatever dark money that's out there. We're real people. You all know that. You've talked to us. So please, I mean, when you're considering where you put your money, who you support, please consider giving it to us and supporting us. I mean, I've got my whole subscription tier. You can do as little as $20 a year. But the more we can build and grow and be sustainable, we get out of that algorithmic disadvantage, get into an algorithmic advantage. And it's through our efforts that we can transform our society. And it's going to require all your help. Keep showing up, keep listening to these things. We don't claim to have all the answers. But more importantly, we're listening to the people that talk. And I hope, thank you for pointing out, I do listen. I try to be better all the time. I never claim to be perfect. And this week, tomorrow, I'm talking to a gubernatorial candidate for the state of Wisconsin in the morning. On Thursday, Nick and I are talking with a congressional candidate. And the things you tell to me are going to influence what I say to them. And we have to get representatives that actually work for us. We have to dismantle the structure that is there. We're outside of that mechanism because we're bringing it down. We're going to build up something better. Your support is critical because Nick and I are the canaries in the coal mine. They're going to try to snuff us out to maintain a status quo that never worked. So again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for helping us and being part of this. And you are all a major part of this. And we're the ones who are going to continue to work hard to ensure that you get your healthcare needs taken care of. If you want to see that in the world, we're the people to stick around with and keep listening to us and keep giving us information on how to do better and how we can all embrace our power and become bigger. And a lot of it, I mean, your shares, your likes, your comments, sharing on other platforms is critical. But most important of all, probably, is to take what you bring in from these conversations, the new power you feel, talk to the people in your sphere and in your community, encourage them to come on and talk here too. And together we'll all rise. But we all have to be agents of that change. We can't look to a single savior. It's got to be a grassroots movement. That's what we're building. You guys are all part of it. I love you all so much. This year would have been impossible to survive without you. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Nick, for being such a good friend and for being my accountability buddy. And for just being my, centering moment, my touching grass moment every week that I need. And there are a lot of times that I've been on the brink, of despair, and talking to you has helped me to feel better and recover my power. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the friendship has been one of the best parts, and that's what we're all trying to get back, our building friendships and building
Yes.
community. Again, I said it earlier, support Walter. He is a model of what intelligent masculinity can be and is. And so go support my friend. And thank you, everyone, again. And I want to give one final moment here. Go support our guest, Corinne, as
Yes.
well.
That was great.
She was such an amazing, she had some amazing contributions for us, some amazing thoughts around nonviolence and our ways of resistance through peaceful mechanisms. And we're going to have her back again and look forward to that discussion. This has been a wonderful morning. And again, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. We look forward to seeing y'all again. No, not next week. Walter will see you next week, but I will not.
But I'll see you on Thursday with
yes.
Emily Berge. So that'll be a wonderful talk.
Yes, that will be. So look forward to seeing you again on Thursday morning, Walter. And everyone, let's stop being sick of this shit. We're doing this shit now. Let's go have a great day.